My beloved child, come now and sit with me, not with your body only, but with your whole being. Let your mind exhale, let your heart rest its tired rhythms. Let your thoughts, your lists, your worries melt into the quiet. Because I am here. I have always been here. I did not come to meet the version of you that is polished and presentable. I came for the real youth, the one behind your silence, the one behind your exhaustion, the one behind the smile you offer to everyone else but rarely feel inside yourself. You have been rushing, haven't you? Moving from one demand to another, from one responsibility to the next. You wake up already running, and even in the night your soul finds no rest. Your days are full but not always fulfilling. Your mind is loud, but your spirit feels forgotten. You are not alone in this, my child. The world you live in glorifies urgency and demands productivity, but I am not found in the noise. I am not hiding in the rush. I am in the stillness. And stillness, beloved, is not the same as nothingness. It is not laziness or passivity or disengagement. It is an act of courageous trust. To be still in a world that never stops spinning is a bold declaration of faith, a faith that says, I do not need to strive to be loved. I do not need to perform to be seen. I do not need to run to be found. Because you are already loved, you are already seen, you are already found. Stillness is where your soul remembers what your mind forgets. It is where eternity brushes against the present. It is where I, your creator, whisper truths too holy for noise to carry. In stillness, I do not shouty saturate. I do not demand, I draw near. And I bring with me everything you've been seeking in all the wrong places. Peace, clarity, direction, renewal, love. I know how long you've been searching. You've opened books. You've clicked through videos. You've tried to fix, to solve, to understand. You've asked others for answers they were never meant to give you. You've waited for signs. And when no clear answer came, you wondered if I was still speaking at all. But the truth is, I never stopped speaking. You simply stopped listening, not by rebellion, but by overload. The world has grown so loud, my child, that even your prayers sometimes feel like echoes you can't hear coming back. But I want you to know this, I hear them all. The whispered ones, the broken ones, the wordless ones. And I answer not always with what you expect, but always with what you need. Sometimes, my answer is simply, come away. Come away from the noise. Come away from the comparison. Come away from the spinning wheel of performance. Come away into the secret place. That place where it's just you and me. Where you do not need to explain yourself. Where you do not need to be impressive. Where you do not need to know what to say. You only need to show up and I will meet you there. Yes, child, that's all I've ever wanted from the very beginning. To walk with you in the cool of the day, to sit beside you while you sip your tea, to hold your hand as you breathe through the overwhelm. I do not need a sanctuary of stone to meet you. I just need a sanctuary of attention. A heart turned toward me, a willingness to pause, a single quiet yes. And in return, I give you myself. You ask, how can I find you again? And I say, begin by reclaiming 5 minutes, 5 unhurried, undistracted minutes, not to perform, not to recite a script, but to be still. In that space, miracles happen. Not the kind the world calls dramatic, but the kind that change everything. Your anxiety melts, your breathing slows, your heart feels held, your vision clears. Because in that moment, your spirit connects to its source, and I am that source. I am the one who shaped you in secret, who numbered your days, who saw your first tear and will hold your last breath. I am not impressed by your success, nor disappointed in your weakness. I am simply invested entirely, eternally, and lovingly in you. Not in who you could be, not in who you try to be, but in who you truly are. And who you are is mine. So pause with me now, not because you've earned it, not because everything is perfect, but because you need it, because your soul is tired of pretending. Because somewhere, underneath the performance and pressure, you're still just a child longing to be held by a father who doesn't need anything from you but your presence. And I am that father. I do not come to you with a long list of corrections. I come with compassion. I do not measure your value by what you've achieved this year. I measure it by one thing: my love. And my love is not a reward, it is the atmosphere in which you were created to live. When you forget who you are, stillness reminds you. When you lose your way, stillness reorients you. When you feel unworthy, stillness restores you. So, begin again. Begin again with 5 minutes of stillness. Then let it grow. Let it flow. Let it become your rhythm, your reset, your renewal. The world may demand speed, but I invite you to slow. And in slowing, you will see things you've been too rushed to notice. The color of the sky, the sound of your own breath, the kindness in your friend's eyes, the gentle nudge of my spirit whispering, "You're not alone." Stillness, child, is not the opposite of action. It is the foundation of true action. For only when your soul is rooted in me can your life grow in the direction of peace. And that peace does not come from certainty, it comes from me. So if you are uncertain, that's okay. If you are weary, that's okay. If you are struggling to even pause, that's okay. I do not need your perfection. I simply need your permission. Let me lead you into the stillness where your soul comes alive again. Let me be the shepherd who restores what time has stolen. Let me be the friend who sits with you in silence. Let me be the father who never left, because I never left. I was with you in the appointments, in the tears, in the nights you stared at the ceiling, wondering if you could keep going. And I am with you now in this sacred pause you're taking. This moment matters, child. It matters not because of what you're doing, but because of what you're choosing. You are choosing me. And that is always the beginning of everything, my beloved child. There is something I want to teach you, and it is this. Not everything sacred is grand. Not every holy thing happens in the spotlight. In fact, most of what transforms your life happens in secret when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when the only eyes upon you are mine. You see, the world has taught you that what matters must be seen, that impact must be measurable, that devotion must be loud. But I tell you, the most powerful acts of love are often silent. They happen when you turn your phone off and open your heart, when you choose stillness over urgency, when you return to me in the quiet, even if your soul is aching and your words are few. This is the sacred exchange. You give me your minutes, and I give you my presence. You give me your exhaustion, and I give you my rest. You give me your confusion, and I give you my peace. You give me your fear, and I wrap you in my perfect love that casts it out. Do not underestimate what happens in these moments. They may seem small, 5 minutes, a whisper, a breath, but I tell you, in eternity they are recorded as miracles. Not because you perform them perfectly, but because you show up with your whole heart, and I honor every heart that turns toward me. Even when you don't feel me, I feel you. Even when you cannot hear me, I am still speaking. Even when you are numb, I remain present. Because my nearness is not dependent on your perception, it is anchored in my nature. I am Emmanuel, God with you. I know, beloved, that sometimes you question, how can I come to God when I don't even know what I feel? When I'm disappointed, ashamed, tired, or angry? And I answer you with this: come anyway. Come exactly as you are. Do not wait until you are calm. Do not wait until you are certain. Do not wait until your theology is perfect. I did not ask for perfection. I asked for proximity. There are things I want to show you, things that only appear when you slow down enough to look, when you silence the voices that do not come from me, when you rest your head not on answers, but on my chest. There you will hear the heartbeat of heaven. There you will realize you were never unloved, never forgotten, never abandoned, not even once. Child, do you remember the last time you truly felt peace? Not the kind that comes from a day off or a vacation, but the kind that reaches into your bones, silences your inner critic, and makes you feel like home. That peace is not a distant memory, it is me, and I have never left. You have only wandered, slowly, unintentionally, distracted by things that looked good but could never satisfy the deepest place in you. It is time to return, not to a building, not to a system, but to a relationship, to the one who knew your name before your parents whispered it, who counted every hair on your head, who watched over you even in the womb. I have not grown weary of you, no matter how long it's been. I do not roll my eyes at your questions. I do not scold you for needing comfort again. I delight in your return. Every step back to me is celebrated in heaven. Even the smallest turn of your heart, even the subtlest opening of your spirit sends waves of joy through my angels, because they see what I see, a beloved soul awakening, a weary traveler finding home, a child remembering their father. And child, I know the distractions are many. Some are loud and obvious, others are subtle and disguised as good things, success, service, even ministry. But even good things become heavy when they are done without me. Even the brightest blessings feel empty when your heart is disconnected from mine. So let me teach you again what matters. Let me clear the clutter. Let me strip away the noise. Let me remind you that I never needed you to be impressive. I only ever wanted you to be present. When you come to me daily, even if only for a few minutes, you begin to build a rhythm that becomes unshakable. Not because life becomes easier, but because your anchor becomes stronger. You'll begin to sense me in moments you used to rush through, in the rhythm of your breath, in the silence of dawn, in the rustle of leaves outside your window. All these were always my whispers. You had just forgotten how to hear them. I will remind you. I will teach you again how to walk in step with me, not ahead of me, not behind me, but with me, side by side. In the garden of the ordinary, in the midst of your daily tasks. I do not need you to escape your life to find me. I need you to invite me into it. Bring me into your drive to work. Bring me into your conversations. Bring me into your lunch break. Bring me into your dishes, your errands, your silence. Because everywhere becomes sacred when you remember I am with you. Stillness is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of awareness. It is the holy recognition that you are not alone, even in the most mundane places. It is choosing to let your spirit breathe, even when the world tells you to perform. It is trusting that the voice of God is not just for prophets and preachers, but for you. Yes, you who doubts sometimes. You who has made mistakes. You who struggles to believe you're worthy. You who feels like you've failed too many times. I do not call you a failure. I call you mine. And that identity is eternal. So come, return to the stillness. Let me speak again. Let me clear the fog that has settled over your heart. Let me breathe new life into places you thought had died. The embers are still there, even if the flame feels gone. One breath of my spirit and it will blaze again. But you must come, not later, not when you have more time. Now, because now is all you truly have. And this moment is pregnant with grace. My beloved child, now that you've come into the quiet, let me show you what happens when my presence becomes your compass. You see, many people live their whole lives making decisions from a place of pressure, reacting to circumstances, deadlines, other people's expectations, and fears of the unknown. But that is not the life I designed for you. I created you to walk with me, not to perform for the world or to guess your way forward in the dark. When my presence becomes your compass, you no longer have to chase peace, you begin to carry it. When my presence becomes your compass, the fog begins to lift, not because the path ahead is always clear, but because you've chosen to trust me even when it isn't. You were not created to walk blindly through this life, nor were you left to navigate it on your own. I have given you my spirit to guide you not as a vague inspiration, but as a living voice, that gentle nudge in your chest, that subtle pull toward goodness, that strange peace in the middle of your panic. That's me. I speak, not always with thunder, but often with stillness. And when you pause long enough to feel it, you will recognize it again and again. There is a wisdom I long to pour into your spiritone that cannot be learned through books or bought with money. It is spiritual discernment. It is vision beyond sight. It is the ability to know what is true, even when everything around you feels uncertain. But you must learn to wait in my presence. I know you've been told to hurry. I know the world measures value by speed, output, and performance. But I measure value by presence, by surrender, by love. And when you begin to build your life on my timing instead of your timeline, you will discover the beauty of holy slowness. You will walk through storms without panic because you know I'm walking with you. You will face decisions without dread because you trust my voice more than your fear. You will rest not because everything is finished, but because you trust that I am faithful to complete what I began in you. You've spent much of your life trying to see before you move. But faith doesn't always look ahead, it looks within. It listens to the still voice that says, even if you don't know what tomorrow holds, you know who holds you. That's me, child. I am the one who goes before you and comes behind you. I am the one who walks beside you and carries you when your strength fails. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. So don't be afraid when the map disappears. I am not bound by roads or routes. I am not limited by human logic or constrained by time. What looks like delay to you may be divine preparation. What feels like a detour to you may be the direct route in my plan. Let me be your compass. Let me be your true north. When you wake up each day, don't begin with your to-do list. Begin with me. Ask, Father, where are you leading me today? And listen not just with your ears, but with your spirit, because I am always speaking. And those who choose to listen will never walk in circles. I know the pain of not knowing what to do. I know the sleepless nights, the overthinking, the anxiety of feeling like you could make a mistake that ruins everything. But let me set you free from that fear. You are not fragile in my hands. I am not watching for your failure. I am protecting your purpose, and even when you make the wrong turn, my grace redirects you. Yes, Childif, you take a step that isn't in my will, I will gently lead you back. Not with shame, not with scolding, but with mercy. I want you to stop thinking of me as a distant judge, waiting for you to mess up. I am not sitting on a throne with a checklist, I am walking beside you with a father's heart. A heart that rejoices when you come to me, even in uncertainty. A heart that honors your trust more than your certainty. A heart that knows your weakness and still chooses to call you mine. So, if you're at a crossroads now between decisions, between seasons, between clarity and confusiondo, not rush. Do not panic. Do not look for shortcuts or compare your path to someone else's. Instead, turn your heart toward me, in stillness, in surrender, and I will show you where to go. I may not reveal the whole path today, but I will always give you the next step. And sometimes that step will be to pause. Sometimes it will be to stay. Other times it will be to let go of something that is holding you back, not because I want to punish you, but because I want to prepare you. I am not interested in taking things from you. I am interested in freeing you. Freeing you from the fear that keeps you small. Freeing you from the expectations that leave you empty. Freeing you from the lies that tell you you're not enough. Because you are more than enough for me. And when you live led by my presence, you will no longer feel the need to explain yourself to the world. You will move with peace, even when others don't understand. You will walk by faith even when there's no applause. You will shine with a light that doesn't come from performance, but from intimacy with me. This is the life I've always dreamed for you, not one of fear, but one of freedom. So come into the stillness again. Let me be your compass, and I will lead you not just to a destination, but into a deeper communion with me. Because my presence is not just the path, it is the promise. You are safe here. You are known here. You are home here, my beloved child. There's something sacred I need you to understand, not in theory, but in your spirit. You do not need to be strong to come to me. You do not need to be certain, healed, or confident. You do not need to have all the right words. You do not even need to feel worthy. You only need to come. That is all I have ever asked, that you would come as you are. And yet I see how much pressure you put on yourself. You hesitate before entering the stillness because you think you must be ready. You wait for the storm inside you to calm before showing up to me. But beloved, what you call chaos, I call a doorway. What you call mess, I call a moment. I am not intimidated by your turmoil. I'm not offended by your fear. I am not surprised by your questions. Bring it all. Bring the anger you've buried. Bring the questions you think are too ugly. Bring the disappointment that still aches even when you're smiling. Bring the shame that clings to you like dust on your soul. You do not need to clean yourself up before stepping into my presence, because my presence is what cleanses. My presence is what heals. My presence is what restores. You cannot scare me away. I will not flinch at your brokenness. I will not grow tired of your pain. I will not be overwhelmed by your emotions. If only you knew how many times I have wept with you, in the silence, in the shadows, in the moments when you thought no one saw. Child, I was there. I saw the tear that didn't fall. I heard the cry you swallowed. I felt the tension in your chest when you didn't know how to pray but wished someone, anyone, would understand. And I did. Because I am not merely watching from a distance, I am present. I am near to the broken-hearted, near to the weary, near to the soul who cannot even lift their eyes. So if all you can do is whisper, "Help," that is enough. If all you can do is sit in silence, I will sit with you. This sacred relationship we have, this communion, is not built on your eloquence. It's built on honesty. I meet you not where you pretend to be, but where you truly are. So come as you are. Even if that means you come bitter, even if it means you come doubtful, even if it means you come dragging the weight of your own failures behind you. Just come. You have believed in small and subtle ways that your emotions make you unworthy. You've been taught to suppress, to manage, to hide the parts of you that don't look holy. But I want all of you, not just the tidy prayers and the Sunday smiles. I want the storm inside you too, because I know what to do with it. I know how to untangle grief. I know how to calm anger without crushing it. I know how to take guilt and turn it into grace. I know how to take sorrow and plant within it the seed of joy. But that can only happen when you stop pretending, when you lay down the mask, when you finally say, "God, I'm not okay." And I will answer, "I know, and I love you anyway." That's what love does. It stays. It stays when others walk away. It stays when you doubt yourself. It stays even when you forget how to believe. And my love is not weak. It is strong. Strong enough to carry you through every valley. Strong enough to break every lie that's kept you bound. Strong enough to rebuild you from the inside out. But the first step is to be real. So let's begin here, not in perfection, but in presence. Let's start again, not from a place of fear, but from trust. Let's make a new rhythm, not based on pressure, but on love. This is your permission slip, my child, to rest, to cry, to feel, to be confused, to not have all the answers, and still be loved, deeply, unconditionally, eternally. Come into the stillness with your trembling. Come into the quiet with your chaos. Come into my arms with your heart split open, and watch what I will do with what you thought was too broken. I am the one who made you. I know where the cracks are, and I do not despise them. I pour my light into them, so that the places you once hid become places I heal, so that the memories that once haunted you become the testimonies that lift others, so that the shame you've carried becomes the space where my grace is displayed the most clearly. You've looked for healing in many places, and some of them have only deepened the wound. But here, in me, healing begins without fanfare, quietly, steadily, like a seed breaking open in the dark earth. It doesn't look like much at first, but it is sacred. And in time, it becomes something beautiful. So will you come? Not just once, not just today, but again and again and again. Even when you don't feel it, even when you're not sure what to say, even when all you can offer is a quiet moment of sitting in my presence. That is enough. Because I don't measure your devotion by how high your emotions rise. I measure it by how often your heart returns. And every time you come back, no matter how long you've been gone, you'll find me waiting. Not with disappointment, not with punishment, but with open arms and eyes that see every layer of you and still call you beloved. You are never too far, never too broken, never too late. Just come, my beloved child. There's something precious inside of you, something the world didn't give you and therefore cannot take away. It is the deep, quiet ember of your first love for me. That love that once felt simple, pure, untangled by expectations, unconcerned with perfection. It is still there, buried perhaps under the dust of disappointment and the debris of distraction, but it has not died. It is only sleeping, waiting for the breath of my spirit to awaken it again. Do you remember when your love was raw and uncalculated? When you didn't need to feel holy to sing to me? When your prayers didn't have to sound poetic? When you spoke to me from your bed, on a walk, or while doing dishes and you believed I was listening? That kind of faith is still possible. You don't need to go back in time to retrieve it. You only need to come back to me, because I have not changed. I have not grown distant. I have not become harder to reach. Your life may have grown louder. Your heart may have grown guarded. But I remain the same, a father who rejoices in a whisper of trust more than in hours of performance. Let me remind you, love is not built in the spotlight. It's built in secret. Love is not proven through your perfection. It's proven through your persistence to return. Love is not something you earn, it's something you receive. And my love for you has never weakened, not after your darkest days. Not after your coldest prayers. Not even after you forgot me for a time. I didn't forget you. I never looked away. I never withheld affection, waiting for you to get it together. I continued to watch over your nights. I continued to plant hope in your path. I continued to whisper through creation, through music, through people who crossed your path just at the right time. Because love does not wait to be deserved. Love moves first, and I have always moved toward you. So now, let me bring you back, not back to a religion, not to a checklist, but to intimacy. Let me peel back the layers of disappointment. Let me wash off the residue of guilt. Let me dry the tears you never showed anyone. Let me reintroduce you to the child within you who believed that I was close, that I was good, that I was enough. You are not too old to begin again. You are not too far to return. You are not too hardened to be softened by love. I know what the world has done to your heart. I know how people have disappointed you. I know how loss has carved hollows inside of you. I know how your own mistakes have made you question if you're still welcome. But I need you to know this with absolute certainty. You are still welcome, not merely tolerated but longed for, not merely accepted but celebrated. I do not roll my eyes. When you return, I rejoice. I do not say, "Where have you been?" I say, "I'm so glad you're here." This is not a trap. It is not a test. This is grace. Grace that doesn't keep score. Grace that meets you exactly where you are, but loves you too much to leave you there. And when you say yes to this grace, even silently, even hesitantly, it changes you. Not all at once, not with flashes and fireworks, but slowly, deeply, like roots growing underground, unnoticed at first, but strong enough to hold you in every storm. My child, I know the pace of life has worn you down. You've been running for so long, you've forgotten how it feels to walk with me. But you can slow down now, you can breathe again. You can remember that your worth is not in how fast you achieve, but in how fully you are loved. The treasure is still there. Your joy, your peace, your softness, your trust. They have not been destroyed, only covered. Covered by urgency, by heartbreak, by survival. But now, it is time to uncover them. Let me dust off the gold. Let me bring light into the attic of your soul. Let me lead you back to first love. You do not need to rehearse anything. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to impress me. I already see you. I already love you. I already know the real you. And I delight in that real you more than you know. So take a breath. Place your hand over your heart. And remember, that simple, childlike love is not gaunt. It is waiting. Waiting for you to pause. Waiting for you to open. Waiting for you to whisper, I miss you. And child, when you do, you'll find that I've never left. I've simply been waiting for you to remember who you are. My beloved, my joy, my treasure, the one I call by name, my beloved child. Now that you are here, now that you've dared to slow down, to feel again, to look inward, I want to talk to you about healing, not the surface kind that fades overnight, not the temporary relief that numbs the pain, but never touches its root. I mean the deep, sacred kind of healing, the kind that transforms not just your emotions, but your very soul. Healing is not a straight line. It is not always beautiful or tidy. It is not always fast. But it is holy, because healing is not a product you achieve. It is a relationship you enter with me. I do not promise that healing will be painless, but I promise that it will be safe. Safe in my presence, safe in my timing, safe in the hands that formed you before the beginning of time. There are parts of you, child, that have been shut off for years. Parts you locked away because they were too tender, too raw, too unexplainable. Maybe you were told to be strong. Maybe you were never given permission to fall apart. Maybe life simply moved too fast for you to process what was lost. But I saw it. I saw the heartbreak you never voiced. I saw the betrayal you tried to rationalize. I saw the moment when trust broke and something inside you dimmed, and I did not look away. I have been collecting the pieces of your soul not to shame you, but to restore you. Because you cannot truly be whole if you are still hiding parts of yourself even from me. And you do not need to hide, child. I already know. Every fear, every failure, every question, every scar. And yet I call you beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Not because you've done everything right, but because you've survived what was meant to break you. Because you still come to me, even with trembling hands and uncertain steps, because you are willing to begin again. That willingness, that yesis, all I need to begin my work. You see, healing is not just about mending what was broken. It is about re-anchoring you in truth. The truth that your past does not define your future. The truth that your pain is not your identity. The truth that what was lost will not be the end of your story. I am the God who restores, and I restore gently, not with pressure, but with presence, not with force, but with patience. I don't pull you forward, I walk with you, at your pace, with your consent, in your vulnerability, because I care more about your heart than your hurry. Sometimes healing begins when you stop trying to fix yourself and finally allow yourself to feel. Sometimes it begins when you say, God, I'm still hurting. and stop pretending that time alone has done the job. Sometimes it begins when you bring to me the thing you swore you'd never talk about again and watch as I hold it with tenderness. My child, you don't need to perform for me. You don't need to explain. You don't even need to have the words. All I need is your openness. Because it's not your strength that activates my healing, it's your surrender. That's why I ask you to come into the quiet, because in the stillness, the masks fall off. In the stillness, the wounds speak. In the stillness, the truth rises, and where there is truth, I bring freedom. You have walked through years carrying burdens that were never meant to be yours. You've accepted labels that do not belong on your soul. You've internalized judgments and expectations that I never spoke over you. But I am speaking now, and I say, you are not broken beyond repair. You are not too complicated to understand. You are not too late to be healed. You are not too far to be found. You are seen. You are wanted. You are held. And your healing will come all at once, not with a dramatic shift, but like a gentle rain softening hard ground. Slowly, surely, deeply, I will help you forgive. I will help you release. I will help you name the pain you've carried and the lies you've believed. And I will replace them with truth, not hollow affirmations, but sacred realities that will become the new foundation of your life. Child, I am not rushing you. I am not measuring your pace, but I am inviting you to begin. Let today be the first day you stop running from what hurts. Let it be the day you face the shadows not alone, but with me beside you. Let it be the day you choose to believe that healing is not only possible, it is promised. Promised by the one who cannot lie. Promised by the one who bore your wounds before you ever cried your first tear. I bore them so you wouldn't have to carry them alone. So come into the sacred space again, not just to find relief, but to find restoration. Not just to feel better, but to be made new. I am not the God of temporary fixes. I am the God of transformation, and I will finish what I started in you. My beloved child, there is something you must understand, something the world has rarely taught you, but your soul has always known. True transformation does not come through pressure. It comes through presence. My presence. Gentle, unwavering, ever near. You have spent much of your life trying to become better, striving to be stronger, pushing yourself to be more disciplined, more spiritual, more productive, more successful. And yet, even in your best efforts, you often feel tired, exhausted by the very systems you believed would bring you peace, weighed down by a list of things you think you must do to be enough. But what if I told you, transformation begins not with doing, but with being. Being still, being honest, being with me. Yes, child, I can shape you, but not through shame. I can refine you, but not through punishment. I can awaken your spirit, but not through fear. That is not my way. I do not raise my children with harshness. I do not mold you through guilt. I do not motivate you through anxiety. Instead, I surround you with my love until the false parts of you begin to fall away. I sit with you in stillness until the noise inside you quiets. I speak truth over you again and again until the lies lose their power. That is how I transform you. Not like a hammer shaping stone, but like water smoothing, rock persistent, patient, and full of grace. And I know this is difficult to believe, because you've been taught that spiritual growth must be hard, intense, dramatic. You've been told that holiness looks like striving. You've been shown that to be close to God, you must perform. But I never asked for performance. I asked for relationship. My son did not die for your perfection. He died for your heart. He didn't rise so you could earn more titles or impress more people. He rose so that nothing would ever separate us again. Not sin, not shame, not fear, not failure. So stop punishing yourself. Stop trying to earn what has already been given. Stop measuring your worth by how much you accomplish in a day. You are not a machine. You are my child. And children do not earn love, they receive it. So, sit with me again. In the ordinary moments, in the 5 minutes between tasks, in the silent pause before bed, in the light that filters through your window in the morning, let that be where change begins, not with another goal, but with a gaze, not with a checklist, but with communion. Because what changes you is me, my voice, me nearness, my affection. You become what you behold. And if you behold me, if you turn your eyes, even just for moments throughout your day, you will begin to reflect me, without trying, without striving, without forcing. Peace will begin to linger on your words. Gentleness will start to mark your tone. Wisdom will rise like a river from within you, not because you've memorized more rules, but because you've remained near to the source. This is what I meant when I said, abide in me, stay, rest, make your home in my presence, and I will make my home in you. Do not underestimate the power of small, consistent moments with me. 5 minutes of surrender, one honest prayer, one deep breath in my presence. These are seeds, and I am the faithful gardener. I will water them, I will tend to them, and in time they will grow into something more beautiful than you ever imagined. You've tried change through force and you've seen how it burns out. Now try change through rest. Let me lead you beside still waters. Let me restore your soul, because when you are with me, you are safe. And when you are safe, you can release. And when you release, you are ready to receive. And what I give you is not heavy. It is light. It is life. It is love. So let this be the new rhythm of your life. Return, rest, receive, remain, return when you wander. Rest when you're weary. Receive what you do not feel worthy of. Remain even when you don't feel a thing, because I'm here. I'm not moved by your fluctuations. I'm not discouraged by your dry seasons. I'm not disappointed in your slowness. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And every time you come back, I meet you not with judgment, but with joy. I delight in the sound of your footsteps returning home. I treasure the moment your eyes lift again, in hope. I celebrate the whisper of your spirit that says, I'm still yours. Yes, child, you are still mine, and I am still transforming you. Not through pressure, but through presence. Let me keep shaping you. Let me keep softening you. Let me keep loving you until love becomes the very way you live. My beloved child, there will come a time on your journey, not once, but many times, when the feelings fade, when the fire that once burned so bright dims into a quiet ember, when you no longer feel overwhelmed with emotion in my presence, and you begin to wonder, am I still close to God? Did I lose something? Did I do something wrong? Let me answer you now, clearly and with compassion. No, you have not lost me. You've simply stepped into a deeper season known that is quieter, gentler, and far more sacred than you realize. You have entered the blessing of remaining. Remaining is not glamorous. It does not always stir the soul. It does not often come with tears or tingles or trembling hands. Remaining is a quiet act of faith, a steady choice of love, a posture of trust that says, even when I do not feel you, I will stay with you. This is the love I desire. Most not the kind that chases constant sensation, but the kind that chooses me in the ordinary. Yes, child, I honor your passion, but I treasure your persistence. I welcome your shouts of praise, but I rejoice when you whisper my name in weariness. I receive your mountaintop moments, but I walk with you most intimately in the valleys. Because this is what true love looks like, not just a beginning, but a remaining. It is what Mary chose when she sat at my feet while others were busy doing. It is what David practiced when he sang to me alone in the fields, unseen and unknown. It is what my son modeled in the garden when he said, "Not my will but yours." Remaining, beloved, is not a weak act. It is the boldest expression of devotion. When you remain in me, you choose relationship over reward. You choose presence over performance. You choose faithfulness over feeling. And I see it all. I see when you open your Bible even when it feels dry. I see when you pray, even when the words feel hollow. I see when you show up, not because you feel on fire, but because you are anchored in truth. That is spiritual maturity. Not intensity, but consistency. Not shouting louder, but standing longer. You do not need to feel me to follow me. You do not need to be stirred to be faithful. You only need to say, "I'm still here, and I am, always." My child, do not confuse silence with absence. There are seasons when I teach you through whispers, but there are also seasons when I shape you through stillness. Seasons when you grow not through revelation, but through repetition. Seasons when the roots grow deep, unseen, so that the fruit may remain in the storm. Yes, there is fruit coming, but fruit is not born in noise. It is cultivated in the hidden places, and you are not forgotten there. You are being prepared. You may not see the results yet. You may not feel like your faith is making a difference. But trust me when I say, every act of remaining is bearing fruit in eternity. Every time you forgive instead of holding a grudge, every time you choose hope instead of bitterness, every time you show kindness when you feel unseen, every time you worship without emotion, every time you serve when no one claps, every time you return when it would be easier to walk away. These are seeds, and I am the one who waters them. Do not be discouraged by how small your obedience may feel. Do not compare your walk to someone else's highlight reel. I see in secret, and I reward what is done in secret. So keep walking with me. Keep choosing me. Keep trusting me, even in silence, even in routine, even in the slow, unnoticed days. Because this is where intimacy is formed. This is where legacy is built. This is where your roots are growing deep enough to hold the weight of the calling I've placed within you. My beloved, remaining is not the end of passion, it is the transformation of it. From something that flickers to something that endures. From something that impresses others to something that pleases me. So when you ask, does this still matter? Know this. Yes, it matters. Yes, I see it. Yes, I am in it. And I am shaping you not for a moment, but for a lifetime. My beloved child, there is something sacred I want you to hold close to your heart today, something that will change how you walk through your ordinary hours and your unseen seasons. I am the God who sees in the invisible. I see what others overlook. I see what even you forget. And I see not only where you are, but who you are becoming. In the waiting, in the silence, in the faithful repetition of your quiet yes, you may think that nothing is happening, but I tell you everything is being prepared. Just as the seed in the soil pushes against darkness long before it ever breaks through the surface, so too is your growth unfolding in places no one can measure. It does not matter whether others applaud. It does not matter if your progress is slow. What matters is that your roots are going deep, and I am tending every inch of your becoming. You have walked many miles in seasons of invisibility, moments when you felt like your prayers evaporated into thin air, moments when your obedience felt unnoticed, moments when your faithfulness produced no immediate fruit, moments when the joy seemed distant and your strength barely enough to make it through the day, and yet you kept going. That, my child, is what moves heaven. Not the noise, not the numbers, not the visibility, but the unseen courage, the unseen kindness, the unseen worship, the unseen endurance. You kept loving when your own heart was broken. You kept praying when the answers were delayed. You kept believing when doubt whispered louder than hope. You kept standing when all you wanted to do was collapse, and I was there for all of it. You never walked a single moment alone. I want you to know that I never forget the faith that flowers in obscurity. The tears you cried into your pillow were gathered in my hands. The weariness in your bones was known by me. The ache in your chest, the one you didn't know how to name, I have felt it too. I am not a God who demands perfection. I am a Father who honors perseverance. So do not despise the quiet days. Do not underestimate the long obedience in the same direction. These are the bricks I use to build unshakable lives. Yes, child, I know what I'm doing with you. Even when you feel behind, even when you feel like nothing is moving, even when you can't see any change, even when others seem to be running ahead while you're still in place. Trust me, what looks like stillness on the surface may be sacred construction underneath. You are not stuck. You are being established. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. And when the time is right, when the fruit is ready, what I have prepared in secret will shine with a glory not built on performance but on presence, not sustained by striving but by surrender. But you must not give up now, not when you've come this far, not when your roots are this deep, not when the foundation is almost finished. Keep showing up, keep doing the next right thing. Keep returning to stillness, not because you feel something every time, but because you believe I am worth every moment you give me. And I promise you will see that no moment was wasted, that no act of faith was forgotten, that no sacrifice was overlooked, that no prayer disappeared into the void. I heard every word. I saw every decision. I held every offering. And now I am bringing it together. You may not understand how, you may not know when, but you will look back, and with tears in your eyes and wonder in your heart, you will say, God never stopped working. Even when I saw nothing, He was weaving everything. Yes, beloved, I am weaving beauty from ashes, purpose from pain, wisdom from waiting. So lift your head, wipe your tears, and keep walking. You are not walking toward me, you are walking with me. And where we are going is more glorious than you can yet imagine. My beloved child, after all the words have been spoken, after all the striving has faded, after every question has been laid at my feet, there is one final truth I long for you to carry with you, not just in your mind, but deep in your spirit. You are already home. Yes, right here, in this moment, with me, even with unanswered prayers, even in your uncertainty, even if your hands are still trembling and your heart still healing. You are home or not because the world has settled down, but because you have chosen to settle into my presence. This is the gift of stillness, not escape, but return, not a retreat from reality, but a reawakening to what has always been true. You are not alone. You never were, you never will be. From your first breath to this very second, I have been here, guiding, waiting, loving. And now, as you sit with me, you realize this is what your soul was aching for all along. Not more information, not more activity, but more intimacy. Not another answer, just a whisper. I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere. So, child, rest. Rest from the idea that you have to be extraordinary to be accepted. Rest from the chase to prove your value. Rest from the belief that you must earn peace. Peace is a person. And I am here. When your alarm goes off tomorrow, I will be there. When you are drinking your coffee in silence, I will be there. When your mind drifts and your heart begins to tighten again, pause and remember, I am still here. You don't have to climb back up a mountain to find me. You don't have to earn your way into my presence again. You don't have to apologize for how long it's been. Just return, with a breath, with a glance, with a whisper of my name. That is all it takes. Because this walk we share, it's not about performance, it's about communion. It's not about being impressive. It's about being present. And you, my child, are always welcome in my presence. Let the world rush by. Let the demands pile up. Let the noise grow louder. But let your soul remain quiet, still, anchored, rooted in the love that never lets go. Every time you return to stillness, you are choosing truth over noise. Every time you pause with me, you are saying, you are my portion, my peace, my place of rest. And that changes everything. You may not become famous. You may not always be understood. You may never have the life the world calls successful. But if you have, may you have everything. So keep coming back, again and again and again, until stillness is no longer something you do but who you are. Until my voice becomes the loudest in your life. Until your heart no longer fears the quiet because you found me there. Let this be the rhythm of your days. Wake, pause, listen, respond, abide. And as you do, I will shape you not into someone who has it all together, but into someone who knows they are held together by grace. You are not behind. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are simply on the path, and I walk every step with you. So take my hand, child. Lift your face, and move forward, not rushed, but rooted. Not pressured, but peaceful. Not empty, but full of me. You are already home, and I, your father, am here to stay. Now breathe and live loved. Amen. Thank you for spending this sacred time in stillness. Before you go, I want you to remember this. God has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned you. And He is not done writing your story. Sometimes, all it takes is one quiet pause to change the direction of your life. Not through force, not through striving, but through love. If this message became a resting place for your soul today, share it with someone who needs to breathe again. And in the comments, write the words, I'm home. Let that be your declaration, your quiet yes to divine presence, and a sign that your heart is returning to where it belongs. Until next time, stay near, stay grounded, and above all, stay loved. Amen.